Hello friends, welcome to the online classes of Triveni Memorial Senior Secondary School. Now this is the next video of chapter number 10 wave optics, in which I am going to discuss about the Young's double slit experiment. And as in the figure you can see that I have drawn the diagram showing the Young's double slit experiment. In this particular case we are going to study about the interference, how the intensity of light is redistributed due to the superimposing of two type of waves having the same frequency and either zero phase difference or having the constant phase difference, which are traveling along the same direction. Now over in this particular case also we are going to study about the condition of constructive and destructive interference, and we are going to derive it mathematically also by calculating the intensity of light and then the conditions. So in this particular case, first of all I want to discuss about the experimental setup of Young's double slit experiment. So over here, as you can see, there is a source S, which is, you can say, passing through the light through the slit having some particular width. So these are the wavefronts, spherical wavefronts. These are generated through the source here, and then after that there is a slit S1 and there is a slit S2 showing the two coherent sources of light that I am going to tell you later on what are the coherent sources of light. So over here there are the two coherent sources of light, or just try to understand what are the coherent sources of light. It is nothing but the two waves or two, you can say, light intensities which have been generated through the single source only, because for the coherent sources of light the mandatory condition is they should have the same frequency and they should have the either zero or the constant phase difference between the two light intensities, and as the generator of these two is nothing but the single source, hence these will be the coherent sources of light. So over here you can see that by the dotted line I have shown you the crest condition, and by the blue line, which is a solid line, I have shown you the trough condition. Sorry, you can take blue to be crest and the black dotted lines to be trough condition. So crest and trough, two conditions are there, and as just in the previous video we have studied about the interference, and over there we have studied about the constructive and destructive interference condition. And what was the constructive interference condition? It was nothing but when crest is overlapping on crest or superimposing on crest, and trough is superimposing on trough with the 0 degree or the constant phase difference. In that particular case the intensity of light will be increasing as the displacement or the amplitude is increasing, and as we know that the intensity of light is directly proportional to the displacement square or the amplitude square, you can say. So here you can see that exactly in the center there is crest on crest, trough on trough, crest on crest, trough on trough, and crest on crest. So in such a condition we are going to get the brightest you can say intensity, or generally we used to call it as fringe. So bright fringe exactly at the center. Similarly, above which and below it, if we will see, then the trough is overlapping on crest and crest is overlapping on trough, trough is overlapping on crest, and again crest is overlapping on trough. Similarly at the bottom side same condition is there, and hence due to which we are going to get the destructive interference condition, and due to which the amplitude is going to decrease, and hence the intensity of light is also going to decrease. And as we are considering the same, you can say both the two sources are coherent and generated through the single source, hence over here the amplitude will be same. So if the amplitudes are same, then in the destructive interference condition we are going to get the amplitude to be exactly 0 and hence exactly the dark fringe. So we are going to have the pattern of bright, dark, and so on, depending upon the constructive and destructive interference conditions. Over here, the point to be noted when you are going to write about the construction of the Young's double slit experiment, the size of the slit is approximately 1 mm. Clear? Similarly, over here there is a mistake. The size of the slit is 0.3 mm. It is smaller in size, and the distance between the two slits is approximately 2 mm. Clear? So the distance between these two slits is 2 mm, and this particular size is nothing but 0.3 mm. Now in the very next case, the distance between the screen and the slit is 2 meters. Clear? So these points you need to be mentioned in the case of, you can say, whenever you are going to discuss about the construction of Young's double slit experiment. Now we are going to just shifting to the mathematical analysis of the interference, in which we are going to just calculate the intensity of light in Young's double slit experiment. And here we have, let the two sources of light be y1 is equal to a1 sin omega t and y2 is equal to a2 sin omega t plus phi. Mention a note here that both the two sources of light are the coherent sources of light, and these are having a constant phase difference of phi, as you can see in the mathematical expression. Now the net displacement, as we want to calculate, obviously will be calculated by using the superposition principle, as in the previous video I have already discussed with you. So the net displacement is given by y1 plus y2. Simply we are just supposed to write the expressions here. So put the value of y1 and y2 here. We are going to get a1 sin omega t plus a2 sin omega t plus phi. Now over here we can use the formula as sin a plus b. What we have got? We have got a1 sin omega t plus a2 sin omega t cos phi plus a2 cos omega t sin phi. Now over here we can see that a1 sin omega t and over here a2 sin omega t cos phi, we can take sin omega t to be common. So we have taken sin omega t common here, and we have got the term as a1 plus a2 cos phi sin omega t plus a2 cos omega t sin phi. After which we have just assumed that a1 plus a2 cos phi is nothing but a cos theta and a2 sin phi is nothing but a sin theta, and by substituting these values here, we have got the equation as y is equal to a sin omega t cos theta plus a cos omega t sin theta. Now what is this? It is nothing but, if we take the a to be common, then it is nothing but sin a plus b formula again. So we have got the intensity of light, or you can say the displacement, its displacement. So the net displacement of the resultant wave will be given by a sin omega t plus theta. Over here a is the amplitude of the resultant wave, y is the net displacement, and sin omega t plus theta is showing that as we have started with the simple harmonic motion or simple harmonic wave, so it is also resulting in the simple harmonic wave function only. After that we want to calculate the amplitude, as we want to calculate the net intensity of the resultant wave, and for the net intensity of the resultant wave we need to calculate A. And for that what we are doing is, we are just squaring and adding both the sides of equation number 1 and 2. So square here as well as here, similarly here as well as here, and then just add these two terms together and get the new equation. As we want to calculate the capital A, so we can calculate it by squaring and adding both the sides of equation number 1 and 2. So we can just, over here we have just done the same thing. So a1 plus a2 cos phi whole square plus a2 square sin square phi should be equal to a square cos square theta plus a square sin square theta. So over here you can see that a square can be taken common, and what we have got is sin square theta plus cos square theta, which is nothing but 1 only. So here, now over here we can use the identity as a plus b whole square is equal to. So here we are going to just open it out, and we have got the a1 square plus a2 square cos square phi into you can say plus 2 a1 a2 cos phi plus a2 square sin square phi here, which will be equal to capital A square. Now mark it as you can say over here a2 square cos square phi plus a2 square sin square phi. Here also we can take a2 square to be common, and by taking the a2 square to be common, again we have got the cos square phi plus sin square phi, which is again 1. So we have got the term as a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos phi, which is equal to capital A square. Now let us assume the intensity of the first wave is given by k_a1 square, intensity of the second wave is given as k_a2 square, and intensity of the resultant wave is given as k capital A square. Now, so the equation number 3 can be rewritten as, over here we can substitute the value of a1 square, a2 square and a1, a2 and over here capital A square. So the equation will become I1 by k plus I2 by k plus 2 under the root I1 by k into under the root I2 by k is equal to I by k, which is a net resultant intensity. As here we can see that k is common to all, so it will get cancelled out and we'll get I1 plus I2 plus 2 under the root I1 I2 cos phi is equal to here the net resultant intensity. Now in this particular situation, up to here, this mathematical expression, we have just got the net resultant intensity of the superposition of two coherent sources of light in the Young's double slit experiment. Now what we want to calculate, we want to calculate the condition for constructive and destructive interference. So now we are going to calculate the condition for the constructive interference, and we have got the intensity expression I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 under the root of I1 I2 cos phi. So in this particular case, if we will go with the deciding factor, so only phi is the deciding factor, which is the phase difference between the two waves. So over here we can get the constructive interference condition, which is nothing but the maxima condition, because in this particular case we got the maximum displacement, and for the maximum displacement, as we know that the intensity is directly proportional to the amplitude, so it should be plus 1. So over here we have got that cos phi should be equal to plus 1. How we can get plus 1? It is only at 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, or you can say generalized condition even integer of pi. So phi should be equal to even integer of pi, which is 2n plus 2n pi, sorry. So over here phi is nothing but the phase difference, and this phase difference can be written as path, you can say phase constant into the displacement in terms of x, you can say. So here we are taking it in terms of p, which is nothing but the path length. So 2 pi by lambda into p is equal to 2n pi. So over here you can see 2 get cancelled out and pi get cancelled out, and we have got the part difference as n lambda. Clear? So the position we have got as n lambda. At the n lambda condition, we are going to get the maximum intensity of light, or the bright fringe, you can say. So position also we are going to calculate with respect of this p in the very next video, in which we are going to calculate the fringe width. Now over here we are going to calculate the condition for destructive interference, and for the destructive interference we know that the displacement should be minimum, and that condition is nothing but minus 1. So cos is always minimum at minus 1. So phi should be equal to pi, 3 pi, 5 pi, or the odd integer multiple of pi, which is 2n minus 1 into pi. So here phi is equal to 2n minus 1 into pi. So again we can substitute the pi, your phi is equal to k into p. So what is k? 2 pi by lambda into p. So we are going to get the term in terms p in terms of lambda only. So here pi and pi again get cancelled out, and we have got the generalized expression as 2n minus 1 lambda by 2, and where n varies from 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So for the constructive interference, we have got the condition as, or you can say the point where we are going to get the bright fringe is 0, lambda, 2 lambda, 3 lambda, 4 lambda, 5 lambda and up to n lambda. And for the, you can say, dark fringe, we are going to get the positions at, you can say, it's lambda by 2, 3 lambda by 2, 5 lambda by 2 and 7 lambda by 2 up to so on to n minus 1 lambda by 2. So these are the conditions for the constructive and destructive interference in case of Young's double slit experiment. Now in the very next video I am going to discuss about the fringe width. That means what will be the, you can say, width of the bright fringe or the dark fringe in the very next video. So thank you so much.